Welcome everybody, this is Speakin Geek special Spoilercast for Don't Nod Entertainment's Life is Strange. I'm joined by the writer and artist of the Superhero Help Desk and of High Fantasy, Hugo Boylan and Kerrie Smith. Guys, welcome.
Howdy.
Hey.
Just got to point out, I'm only a writer. I cannot do art.
I'm also a writer. Neither of us do art.
No, we both suck.
Okay, I'm very sorry. I assumed that you guys were a writer artist. I'm very sorry.
That's cool. A lot of people assume we're writer artists too. No, we hire artists to hide lack of talent.
No worries. Well, an apology duly accepted there. So thank you guys for joining me on this special podcast, and I think we can both agree that this game is something special.
That's fantastic.
It's very good.
So, starting with you, Hugo, what did you guys, well, both of you actually, what did you guys think of the game initially when you started up? Did you have any expectations, or had you known about the game?
Kerrie?
No, I actually hadn't really known anything. Like, when I got it, it was Green Man Gaming had their VIP sale, and I was pre-ordering Batman. And I was like, well, I love these kind of episodic games where you get to make your own choices, so I'll buy that as well.
Worked out pretty well, though. I mean, the episodic games that they're bringing out now are just, I think they're a game changer in terms of story-first gameplay, which is awesome. I haven't seen something like that since, I think you'd be going back to, Squaresoft and Final Fantasy, putting the story before the gameplay.
That's very true. Like, I mean, one of my in my review of the first episode, that was the thing that I said. It's like a lot of people would think, gameplay is king, but I mean, with this series in particular, story is absolute king here. Like I think the writing is quite good. Sometimes it can be a little on the nose, but on the whole, I think it's quite good, and that it's something that needs to be seen, and it is being seen a lot more in games, and I'm really looking forward to how the game continues and wraps up everything.
I agree with you there, man. I think it's very cool that a whole game hinges around one pretty small mechanic and some very cool interpersonal actions with your character and the side characters.
Yeah,
because it kept the gameplay itself so simple. It's your very typical PC game kind of movement and everything. It's very easy to just kind of play and not even notice you're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of passive gameplay where like you literally can wander around and take everything in, and you can see little interactions between side characters, as you mentioned there, Hugo, and kind of try and interact with them yourself. You might not get anything by way of having to make a choice or whatever, but a lot. What surprised me a lot was, particularly in the second episode, was the amount of different interactions you could have with different characters, and then rewind it and go back and go through the conversation tree again. I thought that was really, really cool.
I actually missed a couple in the second episode from not fully exploring everything. Like, there's a homeless lady up behind the Two Whales Diner. I only found that out today.
And that's one of the really cool things. I think it really comes into its own in the second episode. If you're just kind of exploring, it rewards you by having Max sort of narrate to herself all these weird little quirks about the town that you wouldn't get unless you just wandered aimlessly for a few minutes.
That's the thing I find is great with this game in particular, is that it does reward you that way. It rewards you with the exploration. Like I'm not one for collecting trophies and whatever, but I started getting the little pop-ups for every correct photograph I was taking. I was like, okay, where's the next one? I need to try and find it.
Oh, you love the photos, man. The photos are awesome. Yeah. Kerrie just blitzed them all today. She was like, there's one, and there's a bird, and it's somewhere, and I need to find this bird. Have you seen the bird? Is the bird on the screen? Can you see the bird? Come look for this bird. We found the bird. It was a magical experience.
It was on a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was the same. I was like, I think I missed one in episode 2, and I think I missed them all in the first episode because I didn't realise what I was doing. Like I have one core save which covers my true playthrough, my review playthrough, and I have to go back, and I will go back and do another playthrough where I do everything different or something slightly different to kind of see what kind of narrative changes I can make throughout the episode to kind of craft my own different type of story.
So you've only played through the whole thing once?
Yeah, like I like work, everything just piles on me.
You are missing a treat. Kerrie actually, on the day she got it, she was like, "I'm doing everything twice.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the good guy. I'm going to be the bad guy, and we'll see what happens."
Yeah, I have my 2 separate playthroughs for my my trying to be a good person playthrough and my I don't care about anybody playthrough.
Nice.
And then the 3rd playthrough will be for when they're all done and I can just play through and see what comes naturally.
Well, what I think you're going to find as well, if you go back and you do play through with different options, they add little twists and just sentences onto dialogue that is otherwise quite friendly. For example, if you decide to go and be a mean person, so say you're with Chloe in the 2nd episode and you're leaving the diner. Have you ever taken the phone call when you played through?
I took the phone call, yeah.
Right. Did you notice Chloe got a bit cold to you straight away?
Yeah.
And then kind of for the rest of that episode, up until we have the gun scenario, she's a little bit chilly.
Yep.
If you don't take that, there are little bits of dialogue, like single words, or just, that line at the beginning.
Tone,
yeah, it just sounds a lot friendlier, a lot warmer. It's a different experience completely.
That's awesome. Like, I like want to kind of hit, like, on episode 1, I just loved the direction the story was kind of taking me, and I was like, Jesus, this is a real cool science fiction-y girl's own adventure kind of, like, it's quite refreshing actually that it's told from a female perspective and that it's a female-led game, because if it's something else that is seen a lot in games nowadays where you have, your typical man protagonist or quirky.
They kind of turn every male character into a suspect.
Yeah.
Something. I was going through each of them in my head, and I was like, yeah, you could think that he did that, and he might have had something to do with this. So.
But it is the cool kind of, because obviously it's a Japanese company that's putting this out, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm right in saying that. And what they seem to have done isn't it?
Don't know.
I think don't know, but it's Square Enix anyway. So they're doing the graphics at the very least.
Well, Square Enix are the publishers, and Don't Nod are the guys who are developing the game. So Don't Nod are based in France.
France, even better.
And Square Enix were the only publisher who were happy with Don't Nod's approach to being a female-led game.
Yeah.
They said that nearly every publisher they went to with the game, they were told, can you change it to a male lead? And they're like, no, this is a character that we are invested in. This is a character we want to see lead the game. And Square Enix were like, yeah, on board. Don't want to change a thing.
I don't think it would have worked with a male
Although
lead.
I did have to warm up to Max.
Oh, Max is horrible.
Max is a bit weird.
Max is... I love...
I started to like her by the end of the 1st episode.
Yeah, I love some of the thoughts she has, like those disjointed commentaries that go through her mind. But she is such... She's like a modern version of... I don't want to say hipster, but she really comes across, and like she's like, oh, I'm such a loser. I have my Polaroid camera, but I like it anyway. And I hate photography, but I love photography, and no one else gets that the photography. Like, come on, it's a fucking game about photography, guys.
I believe she at one point says to herself, "Oh, I'm such a photo geek."
Of course, you're a photo geek. You're in photo school.
Like, I mean, you only have to look at her bedroom to kind of see how much of a photo geek she is. That, she has the big pictured collage on her wall, which is really cool because you get to study it and see little nods and stuff. But
yeah. And of course she plays guitar as well, which plays back into the Max being kind of too cool for herself without commenting on how cool she actually is.
Like I love what's his name? Her friend, not Chloe, the science fiction scientist guy. He's so Warren. There we go. I love Warren.
Warren is cool. Warren is sort of...
If you play through as Max not wanting to date him, he gets very, very creepy.
Especially in that second game.
He gets quite clingy.
Yeah.
And you're very clearly trying to tell him no thank you.
But he's a cool dude. Like, he's the kind of guy who will put his body on the line to help a friend out and get the crap kicked out of him from someone who has a gun on them.
Yeah, and I think we're all agreed Nathan Prescott's a bit of a dick.
Oh, I mean... This is the guy who brings a gun to school, sells drugs, and drugs and rapes women. Obviously, he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we in agreement then? Did we all blame Nathan in the principal's office in episode 2?
No, no, no.
Really?
Mr. Jefferson.
It's Jefferson, man.
It's definitely Mr. Jefferson.
I can't fathom how, because the percentages when you look at them, everyone's saying it's Nathan, it's Nathan. But if you look back at Jefferson's reactions, and so the way we played it today, the way we played through today was we took the phone call and we went to Jefferson and we told Jefferson we took the phone call. We then blamed Jefferson just to see what his reaction would be. And he turns around, rounds on Max, and starts shouting at him, "You wouldn't even take a single phone call when she needed your help."
Yeah.
Now, when I played it,
I didn't know she was in distress. She, even though she was aiding me in my class, and she had been speaking to him just before class.
And she ran off crying. But like when I played through, I could completely understand, anyone saying that I was an evil parasite, because I was. I played through as the worst kind of human being. Went to tears at the end of the second game, because if you play through as a terrible person, of course, we have that lovely...
You didn't save Kate.
No, I didn't. She leaps off the building, and it's your fault, and you feel pretty awful about life.
I saved Kate twice.
Yeah, I know. Well, good for you.
That was so tense, that scene where like your powers are not working, and you literally have to think back about what you've made the choices of.
Now, Kerrie and I, we've actually come to an argument on this, so... Kerrie believes if you take the phone call, you can do almost anything else with Kate's options.
No, I don't believe that. I'm just saying that if you are talking to Kate that morning and you tell her not to go to the police, you can actually still do that and still save her.
Yeah,
but you have to take that phone call.
Yeah, the minimum that you have to do is take the phone call, I think, because if you don't tell her to go to the police, because she's really bent on going to the police at the start of the game, and then ignore her phone call, she'll think you're the worst human. Also, if you're in her room, you need to take the time to kind of understand where her family think of her, because her mum hates her, her dad does like her, and I think it's her sisters who's younger, and that's the one that you can clinch her on. Is that think of your sister, think of
well, you got the father.
I actually, I told her to think of her father because of the postcard he sent her.
Yeah. But Kate is a cool character though. She's the Christian who just wants to be herself, but who wants to have the college experience. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not something that's too far removed from what a lot of kids can feel like nowadays, and that's what I like about the writing, is that it kind of touches on a lot of typical tropes and kind of feelings that a lot of people would have felt growing up as teens in the middle of high school, in the middle of secondary school, and so on. It kind of really helps to step in with that kind of vibe and feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing you mentioned there about Max playing the guitar, and one thing I have to bring up is just how brilliant the music is across both episodes. I've made playlists on my YouTube channel.
It's actually a great example of atmospheric music done really subtly. Like from that very first moment she puts in her headphones after coming out of the first class.
Yeah.
And Kerrie is
walking down the hallway.
Yeah. You're not a big fan of the song.
I'm not a big fan of the songs,
but it does kind of take you to the right place.
Yeah, it does, and it's very much in the spirit of the character as well. So.
And even when you start the second game, and I think it's a very similar piece of music to what we have in the first game, but it's a bit darker.
It's all J something good, yeah.
And you kind of think, oh, this might be different. Something weird's happening here. And that's exactly what you want a score to do in a game like this, because it's telling half the story for you. You don't have a big gameplay mechanic behind you, so you have to do everything else well.
Even to the point where you're in the diner and you can choose the music as Max, and Chloe will come in and turn your music off.
Yeah.
Like I think, yeah, you're right, totally. There you go. That like the game helps sell the mood. The music helps sell the mood that you're going to feel throughout the story. I just think it's probably the best use of licensed songs in a game in a very long time. I think only second, really, in my opinion, to Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I mean, Grand Theft Auto is a game that's all about pop culture, and you gotta have good licensed song in a pop culture game, or you're gonna crash.
It's very nice to see an indie game with licensed songs to give these bands a platform as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Don't Nod's previous game was called Remember Me, and they it didn't do well, but they had a lot of good kind of ideas, and it was good to see some of those ideas kind of bleed into this. And one of those was the time travel mechanic.
Yeah.
So the time travel mechanic is, as you say, as we've said here, is literally the only core concept or mechanic that we use in the game. My favorite thing to do is to go to characters, make a choice that feels right to me, and then just go back, listen to the other choice, and then see, oh, actually I like that other choice, I'll stick with that one, and then see what happens.
Yeah, it also brings up a really interesting sort of moral question. I might be the only person. I think Kerrie feels it as well. Yeah.
Whenever you make a choice with Max and it's a story changing point, she'll always wonder if she should have gone back and said the other thing.
I still have time to go back and change my answer there, but I think that's something because, and you can disagree with me here, but I think Life is Strange is very much targeted at the mid to late teen audience, maybe even late teen to early adult audience. And that kind of self-doubt after you have any conversation. I mean, I know for myself personally when I was in school, and to a lesser extent when I started off in uni, when I had a conversation, I'd walk away half the time going, oh, fuck, did I say that?
Should I have said that?
Should I have said something different? Oh, God.
Even now, today, I do it.
Exactly, yeah. But it's a cool, really, true-to-life, home-hitting, just clever piece of storytelling about the character.
Look, I'm looking at some of my choices that I've made for the first episode.
Did you water your plant?
Did you water your plants?
Really important.
That is the important question right now. No, not in the first episode. I did in the second, though.
Oof. Flying close to the wind there.
Absolutely. Let's talk about our suspects here. We brought out Mr. Jefferson. Like, what makes you think Mr. Jefferson is your suspect for the Rachel Amber disappearance, or even for his for his involvement with Kate?
Do you want to feel that?
Well, everyone seems to just be really certain that he was sleeping with Rachel Amber. You have bits and pieces around the place, like the homeless woman telling you in episode 2 that she saw Rachel Amber with an older gentleman who might have been her father.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
There are things he says that sit uneasily with me. Like, when discussing Kate, he's like, oh, are you sure she didn't bring it on herself?
He's predatory in his dialogue sometimes, very predatory. And it's such a break from what you get when he's teaching his class. I mean, he's a douche when he teaches his class, but he's not a predator.
Even when he teaches his class, there was one point he said, what was it?
Kerrie's just consulting some notes here.
I could frame any of you in a dark corner and capture you in a moment of desperation. And they cut in lines like that so nonchalantly, so you almost miss them.
But I think that he was kind of masking that because he was talking about photography and black and white photography and how it's all bullshit because anyone with shadows can make something look that sinister.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does. He has some really strange dialogue, and you play it again and really listen to everything he says, and don't be nice to him. I don't want to say be an asshole to him, but just don't be kind.
I'm absolutely horrible to him.
You are.
At all.
And you get the worst out of him when you are so unflinching with him. And he really, and as well, there's that end of the second scene, at the end of the second chapter, when he's in his car and the principal, who, we'll get on to the principal later, the guy's a sociopath, comes up to the door and they're clearly having some kind of argument. The principal's still talking and he drives off. And Kerrie had the thought today, actually, that it was possible that phone call he takes when you're confronting him about Kate was the principal, which brings us back into, did the teachers have something to do with Kate? Did they have something to do with Rachel's disappearance?
I got the feeling that everyone in Arcadia Bay knows what happened to Rachel.
Except for Chloe.
Except for Max.
And Chloe.
I almost even feel like Chloe knows what happened a little bit.
Because she refers to her in the past tense. She says she was this, she was that. Yeah,
she had a great eye for art.
Yeah.
Like, coming to, Chloe and, her relationship with Rachel, I thought it was really, really nice, and it was really cool when you're walking around that breaker's yard, that scrap yard, and you're seeing the little nods, and you're seeing the little touches of the relationship between the two. And then, Max kind of feels that little bit of insecurity or jealousy between the relationship she used to have with Chloe and the one she now has with Chloe. I thought that was quite an interesting way to kind of expand on the relationship that Rachel has with certain characters.
I think, especially when you're dealing with a character like Max, she's very, very level and she's very confident in how she is not confident. but she's also hugely jealous. And she's hugely controlling to such a degree where you have the option to take a piece of graffiti that was very clearly Rachel and Chloe being BFFs after you've jacked off to Seattle and never sent a phone call back.
Mm-hmm.
She just wants to intrude on that privacy. And as far as you know, as the player, if you're choosing to do this, you're stepping into a realm that is essentially Chloe's fondest and final memory of Rachel. You don't know that this isn't something that they did together on a day like you were having with Chloe today. You're just throwing yourself in there as well. Why not? Now we're the three amigos. Yeah.
Like, I actually did that. I changed the graffiti on that one.
Oh, so did I.
But do you not feel like you're just intruding on their day?
I did it to intrude. I found that really funny.
I was doing the same, but now that you've brought it up, you guys like, yeah, that when you take that step back and look at it and be like, okay, yeah, wow, like Chloe had her thing with Rachel, and it was this kind of special thing between the two. And she obviously cares a great deal about Rachel, otherwise she wouldn't be putting up so many posters, wouldn't be putting up so many like help signs basically to try and find her. And I do think that the drug guy, the weirdo, or the
Frank, yeah.
Yeah, I think like there's something going on with him and Rachel, and you guys are putting doubts in my head now as well as to Mr. Jefferson and what he's got involved with. So by all accounts, it sounds like I definitely need to go back and play.
You see, because of how the game is written, it's very difficult to nail down just one suspect from just
Mr.
the
Jefferson
2 episodes.
is very predatory and creepy, but then Frank has Rachel's bracelet, and Nathan Prescott is a known predator, and the principal is a drunk that tries to hide everything. Samuel had pictures of Rachel in his shed.
Yeah, I forgot about the pictures in the shed, yeah.
What? I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah, in the... Oh, is it the...
It's the first episode when you're about to drop paint on that.
No, it's actually when you come out the next day. I actually think it's in the second episode. And you meet Samuel in the morning. If you go into the same room where you use the water valve, you actually find that he had pictures of Rachel.
Oh, wow, I didn't realise that at all.
But Samuel's a sweetheart. He's just a bit dense and has a really creepy voice actor.
Yeah, I think if you listen to Samuel without imposing the creepy voice on it, he's actually very sweet.
He's just a bit simple. That's it.
I think we should cast a little bit of light as well on the Vortex Club in general and all the members, because they obviously have something going on that's a bit nefarious, and obviously with the fact that Nathan organised a Vortex party where Kate got a bit drunk, did something stupid, but the fact that they went out of their way to make her feel like such a loser was really, really striking to me. And it was like, it just kind of highlights the cruelty of teenagers and of kids in general as we grow up.
Well, there's a couple of things to talk about there, and I'm going to step aside and let Kerrie go a bit crazy here in a second. But even the name, the Vortex Club, in a game about time travel, I think it's very much directed at pulling your attention towards them.
And then there was, Juliet had an article, you can find it in Victoria's room at one point, about how it was meant to be a rebellion back in the 1980s against the yuppies of the Reagan era. And now it's turned into this really, really kind of crappy elitist club.
Neo-yuppies, yeah.
Neo-yuppies, wow.
But what was really interesting, I think Kerrie's actually, she's now not going to say it, but you mentioned there that you thought Kate, when she got a bit drunk, she did some stuff that maybe she regretted.
Kate says she didn't get drunk and that she was drunk.
The whole way through, Kate is insisting that she had a drink.
She had a sip of red wine.
Sorry, yeah, she was spiked. Yeah, sorry, she was spiked by Nathan. That's right. Sorry.
So that's a big plot point when you're dealing with Nathan, because he promised to take her to the emergency room. She implies heavily that she got date raped.
Yeah.
And then there's the video of her going crazy. Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to divulge a bit of a story here. When I was younger, I was out with a group of friends, and one of our mates got spiked. And you do go kind of crazy before the leaden feeling hits you.
Okay.
We were in a situation where we got her home, so it's a happy story. Don't worry.
Okay.
No.
I thought we were going to take a dark turn there.
No, we weren't. Don't worry. We already took a dark turn with Kate. We're not going to go there personally.
Okay.
But it is really conceivable that she was spiked. She hit the high.
Well, then, and Chloe had also mentioned that Nathan dosed her at the end of the first game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true.
Yeah. This guy's a serial offender. He's very creepy.
Yeah. Well, he's a mad person. He's not capable of human interaction. From your very first introduction to this guy, he's waving a gun in a bathroom and threatening to blow someone's brains out.
He could blow up the school if he wanted.
That's true.
That's true.
Doesn't he actually kill Chloe until you travel back in time and stop it? Yeah.
He actually shoots her, and that's when you realize your power.
So we're not even debating intent here. This is someone who is capable of murder. I don't think rape is too big a step.
No, it's not. And I mean, I was very, very happy to hear that the principal actually grew some balls and expelled Nathan at the end of episode 2, and I pinned it on him.
That didn't happen.
You got that? That did not happen for either. When either of us tried to blame Nathan threatened a lawsuit.
Yeah, when it happened both ways for me. I didn't tell the principal about Nathan waving a gun, and then he accused me of making things up. And then when I had told him about Nathan waving a gun, he told me that I was making up stories as well. So,
although I think that comes down to, and this is what I love about this game, it's all the choices play back the whole way through. I think that a lot of that will come down to if you intervene with Chloe and David when he's about to hit her.
Oh, yeah, if you intervene there, then he will not support you when you're in the principal's office.
Wait, he calls you a drug dealer?
Yeah, he calls you a drug dealer. And then if you don't intervene, if you stay hidden, he'll very much be on your side.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what happened, but I know he either definitely got expelled or he got suspended from the school. So I was like, yes, score 1 for, Max getting one over on Nathan. Looking at my major choices here from Out of Time, the second episode, I was among the popular choice to make Kate wait for more proof. I answered Kate's call.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't try to shoot Frank, which is another point we'll come back to.
You didn't try to shoot Frank?
You
gotta count the bullets, man. It's a 6-shooter. Just,
I saved Kate's life and I blamed Nathan. Now, beyond that, I look at everything that I've done, and I was remaining steadfast. Nathan,
I think it very much comes back to that.
Is an ass.
No, Nathan is a huge ass.
Yes.
But in terms of Max to other characters, I was like,
I got in the wonderful situation at the end of the game I played today, where Max was in this room with the principal, Mr. Jefferson, David, and Nathan. All of these people in positions of power over her, and they were all blaming her for everything.
That was actually genuinely sinister.
Yeah.
Because of how
I actually went through each one and rewound back each one.
Yeah.
With Nathan, I was told I was making up stories. If I blamed David, I was accused of being a drug dealer. And if I blamed Mr. Jefferson, he tried to pin Kate trying to kill herself on me.
You, yeah. But it was really, really sinister. And the only reason that happened was because you had stood up for Chloe and you had tried to not step on Nathan's toes.
Yeah.
So because you hadn't gone to the principal and to David saying this guy's waving a gun around, he's a lunatic, they were both so willing to believe that you had basically this elaborate frame job in your head to get rid of good old Nathan Prescott.
But if you do tell on Nathan, you get threatening anonymous text messages.
And then a text from his dad.
I got the text from his dad. I also got a weird and sinister message left on the picture collage.
Yeah.
From Nathan himself. Going back to what I did with Chloe and David, I came out of hiding and intervened. I didn't take the blame for Chloe. I didn't defend. I think I just came out and intervened. And then when it comes to rifling through David's evidence lockers, which is a creepy thing all on its own, I didn't leave any evidence. I did read all of David's files, and it just for me, it comes down to between David and Nathan as to what happened with Kate. When it comes to Rachel, I'm kind of it's like pin the tail on the donkey, really.
Yeah.
This is another very interesting thing about the story they're telling. There are two separate incidents, but your protagonist is so certain that they're interconnected.
But they are interconnected with the red files at the end.
That's true, actually. Do you remember the red files, all the girls' names?
Yeah.
And they're all...
I actually have another theory about that.
Oh, so do you want to hear Kerrie get all mine on us?
Yeah, let's go.
I believe it's an apocalypse story where the end of the world is coming on Friday. David is convinced that Kate knows about it because he's a doomsday sayer because he has all of the stockpiles for the apocalypse in his garage.
He does.
True.
And she's Christian, so he probably thinks that she would know something about it.
Well, she's also doing secretive things. We don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. But we're not entirely sure what Kate's up to, but it would really make sense if, everyone in Arcadia Bay knew that to keep the tornadoes away, we must sacrifice the girl every 5 years or something like that. Ridiculous. But
okay, that is dark, but and I like it.
But if you look at the files, they have Rachel. They're now coming after Kate. They have all these other girls' names going back. The Vortex Club could actually be a cult.
What I was finding very sinister, and this is going back to your Vortex Club as cult theory, when they're putting the files together, it looks like an arts and crafts hobby project. They've got some glue, some paint. They're clearly posting really sinister pictures taken from a high angle onto a plain black sheet of paper with some notes written on, and they're pasting that into a file all about Kate. Yeah. They have a matching file on Rachel, who's just gone missing. It's all
and
very
some other
sinister.
Girls as they go further back.
Yeah.
Like, there was a big drawer of those files.
That is a good 15 files there. Yeah.
Something wicked this way comes.
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned now David, Mr. Jefferson, Nathan. We haven't really gone into too much with David, but with the principal, I think he is literally just a guy who's caught between a rock and a hard place, who's also just too ambivalent to everything going on.
Yeah,
doesn't really care.
He's just bought and paid for and wants to drink.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
the Prescotts have him on a short leash.
They have everybody on a short leash. They own the town, basically.
Well, they haven't called it Prescott Bay yet.
Yeah.
To come back then, so we're all agreed then, the principal is just a stooge. He's nothing more, nothing less.
Well, he's not actually doing anything to help. So
I think the principal may know more than he's letting on.
Yeah.
But I think that the way they're playing him is so passive that if he is the one responsible, wholly responsible, then we've all been led down a very strange path to get there.
He might be involved in whatever Mr. Jefferson is doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be aware, I think is a better way to put it. He might be aware of what's going on, but just doesn't want to get involved. He's happier drinking his gin from his hip flask and hoping no one notices.
Well, when you think about it, he's the principal of a prestigious school, Blackwell Academy, who has this famous and, very well known and respected, in quotations, photographer teaching at his school, along with the bankroll money from the Prescotts. I think he's on a cushy number, and he's happy to just let a lot of stuff slide. Which is not good.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, though, he does turn on a dime from being almost helpful to being very accusatory and very aggressive.
If you either try to blame Nathan Prescott or try to hide that this has happened, he gets very, very in your face.
And no matter what you do, he gets in your face. You're either lying to him or you're lying about Nathan Prescott.
Yeah.
So, David, as you mentioned, has the stockpile stuff. He also has, the surveillance of a lot of the students. He also wants to put cameras in at the school. Now, did you sign the petition? Yes, no?
I did sign the petition in this playthrough. There was one playthrough that, yeah.
I was being a bad human being.
But I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I actually really like David. He won me over in the second episode where I actually felt he was being genuine about the fact that he cares about Chloe.
Oh, when he comes up to you.
He wants her to do better. And then at the end, he's out in his back garden with Joyce. He just looks so sad.
Yeah, I talked to him, at the point when you're wandering around the hall in the second episode, you're wandering around. I wandered around and talked to various different characters, but I went to David, and the way the conversation went, we ended up resolving things a little more amicably. So that, I think, is why, and I think maybe the things turned out the way they did later in the principal's office, where
PTSD.
It's really, really likely that he has PTSD from the war.
Very likely.
What is the wife's name? Joyce?
Joyce, yeah.
That's why Joyce he's paid his dues in the war, and he just wants everything to go well, and he cares about everybody, and he's not as bad as you think he is. And then there's that moment again. I think the final scene in episode 2 is quite telling for an episode 2 finale, when he's just, his shoulders slump and his head drops. And you can tell he's just a guy who doesn't want to be blamed for things that he's trying to prevent. He doesn't want to be seen as this bad guy. He's tired.
Honestly, we're only seeing him as a bad guy through Chloe, who doesn't like him anyway.
Kate.
He is following Kate around quite a lot.
It comes down to the power dynamic, though. You know, is this a guy in power abusing his power? Is this a protector caught in a bad situation? Or is it the fact that we're seeing everything through Max's eyes, and she herself has a little bit of a persecution complex?
Yeah, and she wants to believe that Kate is being bullied rather than Kate is doing something wrong.
I mean, she also wants to believe that Chloe is infallible. Now, to be fair, if you go the route I went, which was be a bad person, and you let him basically smack Chloe around, there's no excuse for that. You know, no one should ever, and no parental or authoritative figure should ever figure should ever raise their hand to someone, least of all their adopted daughter. That's just inexcusable. You can't do that.
No, you're absolutely right, and you know that's one of the things. Is like I played the finale section of episode 1 once or twice, and first time he hit her, and I stayed hidden, and I didn't know what to do. So then the second time, I stepped out before he could do anything, and confronted him. Said, "Look, I said basically it's my pot, but it's not Chloe's fault or whatever, blah blah blah," and let him believe that you were the person who brought the drugs to the house. But I think you're right. I think David is someone who's striving to do the right thing, but is maybe going about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Someone. Now that I think more and more about it, Mr. Jefferson really is a creepy man. I just...
You can't see that Kerrie just half clapped and had a big grin on her face when you said that.
I haven't liked him since I started the game. He's just very creepy.
He is.
And he's like, it's drag to have an old dude tell you what to... Oh, he's just horrible.
He does come across as that, I'm the cool teacher, man. Have some pot with me and we'll have a chat about how I can touch your skirt.
What do we think is going to happen? What do we think is going to be the end game here? Like, we've got 3 more episodes left, and looking at it, like, the next episode is called Chaos Theory. So, going off of the title...
Oh, man. Actually, this game just surprises me. I know they're running around the halls of the school, and I'm assuming David is following them with the flashlight.
Nah, man, I think it's Nathan.
It's probably... Yeah, see, it could be anyone, because they're all involved in the school.
I mean, if you want to go through... So, ostensibly, this is a mystery, right?
Yeah, I believe that Max is going to die by the end.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the nosebleed with the time travel stuff.
All the brain hemorrhaging that she's going through.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
But if you are looking at, just to take it back to what we think is going to happen and predictions, if you're looking at narrative structure, we are looking at a mystery story, right?
Yeah.
So we have, unless this is a vast conspiracy, I'd love if it was a vast conspiracy.
I think it is a vast conspiracy.
But unless it's a vast conspiracy...
Like, kind of, what was the Simon Pegg movie, Hot Fuzz?
Hot Fuzz was
At
amazing.
the end, where the entire town is in on it.
Are you saying they're going to Hot Fuzz us?
Oh, God.
I think we'd all delight in some
And the
Hot
entire
Fuzz,
town is in on it, and they're all just trying to cover up all the secrets.
But that would be amazing. If that's the case, then anything could happen in the next stories, and we're all just passive passengers. But if let's just assume, okay? Because if we don't assume, then we've got nothing to go on, and we're lost at sea. Damn it! Let's just assume that this is a mystery story. It's traditional mystery. So following the mystery narrative, we have to eliminate a red herring or 2. So there are 4 red herrings and the guilty party. And you're going
or there could be 2 guilty parties with the 2 separate girls, or there could be...
Okay, outcomes razor. Let's do this simple.
Okay.
So let's assume, right?
If there is one person guilty for...
If there is one person, let's assume that one person was in the principal's office at the end of the 2nd episode.
Okay.
Okay? Let's say it wasn't Max because she's your protagonist.
Well, then you have 2, 3, 4, 5 red herrings?
Okay, so you've got 5 red herrings. So we have, what, 3 more episodes to reveal the red herrings as we go, right? That's how it has to go, if we're following traditional mystery. So in the next episode, I really believe Nathan Prescott is going to reveal himself as not this conspiratorial mastermind who's killing off women who could be a threat to his position.
Just a really creepy guy.
Just a neurotic mess who's ruined his life with drugs and alcohol and date rape and whatever else he's into. We don't even know half the stuff this guy's into. He's toting guns around school and whatever else he's doing. But I think that's him chasing you around after hours.
I don't really see Nathan Prescott as the conspiratorial mastermind.
No, and if we're hitting the midpoint of any mystery narrative, it would be good to blow open the most obvious red herring now.
Which would be Samuel.
No, I disagree.
Very obvious.
I gotta say it's Nathan. I think Samuel, as a red herring, Samuel has already won me over. I don't think he's a red herring anymore. I don't think he's even in the running for someone to have done something creepy. I think he's just a bit special, and we all need to just accept Samuel as someone who got a really, really bad voice actor do a really great job of a creepy voice. He's got a great voice actor, but the voice is just terrifying.
You guys are corrupting my vision and image of Samuel as this kind of simple-minded handyman around the school.
But he is. He's a simple handyman. But just that voice actor when he's talking about Samuel.
Yeah, he's very nice.
He is, and he's poetic in his own way, and he's really apologetic about dropping paint, and he doesn't get aggressive when Victoria is being Victoria. Did
you actually to come back to the paint and Victoria? Did you guys be nice to Victoria, or were you?
Snap it. Took that photo. Put it online.
I did that in one playthrough. I in this playthrough comforted Victoria and was nice.
Although to come back to Victoria, can we all just acknowledge what an amazing burn go fuck yourself he is?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it is.
To me, that took Victoria from just some pissant, annoying antagonist to the level of Magneto as a villain.
And then you get it back by breaking into her room and messing with her pictures.
Oh, yeah, you give her a big finger with her pictures, and then you convince her friends that she's sleeping with her boyfriends. It's all very high school, really.
Oh yeah, I'm taking down Victoria by being nice to everybody.
Jesus, what did I do when the whole sexting thing came out? I outed Victoria for the bitch that she was.
Very much so.
I think you have to, though.
But Dana is just so nice. You can't let her just suffer.
Or be locked in her room forever.
Yeah. We need her for the rest of the game.
That's true. And then there's the whole, Dana's pregnant, and are you going to be an asshole and snoop into her business?
Be really nosy, because Max is really nosy. And she keeps trying to brush it off with, oh, I'm so nosy today.
But this is the pleasure of time travel. I'm going to snoop into all your business. You're going to catch me out. I'm going to reverse time, and all of a sudden we're buddies again. Hey,
pretty much. Did you guys help Alyssa at all stop getting battered off the head?
I'm terrified she's going to die of a concussion by the end of the game if you don't help her.
The first game I stopped her from getting hit with the football. I didn't even know she got hit with toilet roll in the second game.
Yeah,
until I listened to another Spoilercast.
Oh man, it's just...
I've just been watching her just in case something will hit her.
Every time you see Alyssa, there's a point where you have to take a photograph from behind Alyssa, and you're sitting there and you're just waiting, something's going to hit her as we take this photograph. A bird is going to fly through the window and into her face.
The poor girl.
I really like Alyssa though. She's a very average character. She's just there. She's reading her books. She's got a bit of a dry wit, but she doesn't force it. It's oh hey, you keep saving my life. You're my buddy. It's cool.
She's very nice to be around.
Yeah. Whereas everyone else has these explosive personalities that you're just waiting to get on the bad side of them and see what they'll do.
You're already on Brooke's bad side. No matter what you do, she hates you.
Yeah, that's Brooke.
That's Brooke. Kerrie, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode?
Oh, God, I actually don't really have any ideas.
Going on what you were saying, Hugo, with the fact that we're coming to the midway point of the story, I do think you're right in that at least one of the suspects, whether it's going to be two separate mysteries or going to be two separate mysteries that combine to become an intertwined narrative, at least I do believe one suspect at least will be exposed either as a further plausible suspect for the whole mystery, or someone who is just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, I think it's got to happen. I think we need to get an answer, even if it's in the negative, even if it's this. This is you. You wrongfully accused Jefferson 3 times, Hugo. You wrongfully accused him 3 times, and now he's fired and miserable, and he hangs himself. If that's what happens, it's what happens, and we'll all feel terrible about it. But
Jesus, that's dark. I'm laughing at you talking about a man killing himself over losing his job. But
well,
my God, man, you have such good wit.
But we already know, right? We already know he sleeps with the students. Okay?
Yeah, that's pretty.
If he doesn't sleep with the students, then we know we're dealing with a whole school of sociopaths, and frankly, my sympathy for them is weaning or waning. Weaning. I'm weaning myself off sympathy.
Yeah.
My sympathy is waning for them at that point. I really do think we are going to get someone, and I don't think it's going to be Jefferson, because I think he's guilty. I think we're going to be told Nathan isn't a big deal, and I think we are going to get some resolution to who is the flipper with the knife again? Frank.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah, I was going to bring in Frank because I'm looking at the.
We're going to see Frank again.
Well, by Friday.
In the next episode, yeah. And I think that we are going to see something like the Vortex Club party is coming up. So that'll either be in episode 3 or episode 4, I think.
The Vortex Club party, I don't think it's avoidable, but it's going to be a huge plot point.
I think you're going to find out things about Nathan Prescott if you go to the Vortex Club.
I think you're going to find the folders in the Vortex Club party.
Did you guys get access to the party?
I did.
Kerrie did.
You didn't.
I was an asshole. You know nothing about fashion. Yeah, well, so's your mom.
See, if you be nice to Courtney and Taylor, then you get to take them away from Victoria.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you know, they're like 3 heads of Cerberus. They're all the same bitch.
Well, fair. That's not nice.
Well, looking at the release date for episode 3, we're looking at May 12th.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, so we don't have to wait too much longer. And I think that's a natural place to end on this excellent first spoilercast for Life is Strange. I am definitely going to enjoy playing episode 3. I do think we should get back together after episode 3 and discuss it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd enjoy that.
Yeah, get wired on some coffee, get really into this game.
Exactly. So
I'm like Max.
So before we sign off, I'm gonna give the floor to you guys and see if you guys want to plug anything, if you guys want to talk about anything that you have coming up.
You go plug stuff.
Okay, well, obviously we'll be exhibiting at Thought Bubble this year, so if anyone out there is into comics, and you'll be in Leeds in November? In November, come along to Thought Bubble, come to our table. We'll be selling the Superhero Help Desk Season 1 collection. You can also check out the Superhero Help Desk at superherohelpdesk.com. It's an awesome collection, full of a lot of extras, and we have a few announcements coming up as well on the Facebook page, so if you're following us there, keep an eye out. Kerrie's actually got her own book out for the first time. She's done a very cool story. It's a horror all about the internet harassment. It's very, very cool. I thought it was one of the better comics that was exhibiting at Cork Comic Expo, which was an immense show. But that's a book called Cling, and that's going to go into a collection that we're hoping to have out for Thought Bubble. So again, get to Leeds. You get all the cool toys there. And besides that, yeah, just keep an eye on High Fantasy. Keep an eye on Superhero Help Desk.
Yep.
Anything else?
No.
Are we doing anything? I don't think we're doing anything else.
We're
playing video games. Okay?
Yeah. Hugo, Kerrie, thank you so much. You've been great guests on this episode of the Life is Strange Spoilercast for Geek Ireland. I've been Tom.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers, dude. Cheers, dude. Cheers, dude. Cheers, dude. Cheers, dude.